What is up, fam? It is Shar, and welcome to Long Live in Color, where I provide quick tips and experiences on the law school process and legal field as a person of color. So if you are about to start school this fall, this August, if you're anything like me, you are stressed out about money. Whether you're full-time, part-time, and if you are full-time, how you're going to make a bucket of money last, if you should try to pick up a job, if you shouldn't, how do you budget, where do you start, all of that fantastic stuff. So if you've watched my videos, I did talk about a course called Barbary Law Preview. Barbary is essentially a law school resource site, not even just law school, but also law as in your career field. They offer awesome resources. Now, you don't have to obtain or sign up or participate in Barbary Law Preview to access some of their resources. All you have to do sometimes is just put your info in and download whatever they have to offer. They do offer a 1L worksheet for your budget, and it's very helpful. They give you actually steps into how to use the worksheet. And the benefits of the worksheet is that you really essentially can really just plug in numbers and it populates formulas and incongruence to your semester, but also you can really see how much you have, how much you're going to need, and all of that great stuff. So essentially what I'll be doing today is going over that worksheet with y'all, not in a step-by-step manner, but just as a general overview, and really the methodology that I use to understand and to create my budget. Now, this worksheet is totally editable, so if you want to delete some categories or add some categories, you're more than welcome to. The link to the worksheet will be in the description below. All you have to do is just put your information in, your email, your first name and last, whether you want any promos from Barbary, and then it'll prompt you to just go ahead and press download now, and then another download screen will come up and you just press download now again and it will download. No pop-ups, no nothing crazy, and it'll just be in your downloads and you'll be able to access it and edit it. The first page of the worksheet is kind of like a step-by-step process. Not really, it has two big steps and then you kind of essentially just understand it from there. It's pretty straightforward, but they give you a intro to Barbary, but also to the actual worksheet itself. Now, there are going to be two tabs, the worksheet and the review. The worksheet is going to be what you're inputting, and the review will show everything in accordance to that. Now, you can also edit in the review tab, and the formulas will still work correctly. So if you're like me and you're going to be a full-time student in law school, most full-time students most full-time law school programs don't permit students to work, or they highly discourage it. That's because, especially your 1L year, it is the most difficult year in law school, and they prefer that you put most of your time into your studies rather than in having a job. But there are exceptions to that. So for me, my income is essentially my savings and anything that I've invested in, such as my mutual funds, for instance. My 401k I leave alone. And some stocks I leave alone, but essentially mutual funds and savings is what I factor in as my income. But if you are deciding to go to school part-time, you can actually put in your monthly income as well. It has a category for that also. Now, what I also love about the Barbary worksheet is that if you click on the amount cell in each category or in some of the categories, it'll have a little kind of highlight in the right little corner. I'm a Mac user, but if it looks a little different, it might look a little different on the PC. You just click it and a comment will pop up kind of explaining what you should put in that box, just in case you're a little bit confused on that category. Your next two big things are your monthly needs and your monthly wants. Your monthly needs are your current expenses and your future expenses. So the last few things on the worksheet are relating to future savings and also your tuition. And like I said, if you click the amount in the cell, Barbary actually explains these very well, but I'll vaguely explain them. So for bar prep, a lot of people don't prepare to save up for that, and that's what Barbary is kind of creating a category for you to do. It's to put some money to the side to save up for bar prep. Or any living expenses post law school. This, I honestly wouldn't really put any money into. I'd keep that at 0. And the reason is because this is a 1L budget worksheet. I feel like saving for that is something when you more so hit 2L and 3L year. Barbary also creates a category for professional attire. For those of you that are coming straight out of undergrad and going straight into law school, this is something that I would put some money for to the side and expect to spend. If you have the money now, I would go ahead and buy a suit or two, just to prevent having to buy one later on. The last 3 categories is per semester. So you have tuition, your case books, and your travel, which I think is very great of Barbary to include. So as far as your semester tuition is concerned, you can always look that up via your law school's website. They'll typically have a cost of attendance breakdown where tuition is included in that. And then case books are typically around $1,000 to $2,000 for every school. So that's the generic amount you put in. You can put that in, or you could actually, like, if you've already gotten your schedule, you can actually go search how much they're going to be, used or new, and then actually have an accurate pricing on that. And the last one is travel. So if you are like me and going to school in another state from where your home base is, this is a nifty category to have, because you should factor in, oh, am I going to fly home for Thanksgiving? Am I going to fly home every holiday? Am I going to drive home? Am I going to get a rental? That's something to definitely think about now rather than later. And if you have the money now, go ahead and book those flights, because they're relatively cheaper now than they would be later. If you don't, completely understandable, because I don't. And just anticipate what that cost is going to be, so that when you come around that time, you can make that decision of whether you're going to go back home or not. Now, what isn't on the budget would be, if you're like me and you're going to school in another state, would be move-in costs. This is kind of a forgotten expense, right? So you spend all of this X amount of money moving in, and then you're left with whatever, but you didn't really factor that in with your budget. You had the original amount that you had in your account, but in reality, it was a lot less because you had to do move-in. Move-in for me is going to cost roughly around $1,000, possibly more. And what I did for this was that I essentially put that as one of my travel expenses for 1 month. So on the worksheet, it'll have the review tab. Now, once you've input all these numbers on the worksheet and you click the review tab, it'll have all those numbers populated, and it'll be separated by months. Now, you can actually edit the amounts per month for certain things that you want to spend. So, for instance, in this situation, in this scenario for moving costs, I want to factor my moving costs with the travel category. But I know that I'm only going to spend $1,000 for the month of August, not every single month I'm going to spend $1,000 on travel, which will happen. If you just put $1,000 in that 1 month, all the months behind it will populate. To avoid that from happening, you just go to the next month, so September, and put 0 and delete the 1,000, and all of those revert back to 0, and you just put 0 right there. So essentially, when you input certain things for certain months, you can do that in the worksheet, and it will populate in your expense total at the bottom. However, if you don't remember to delete everything after that month in that category, it'll read it as you're spending that amount every single month rather than just that month. I hope that makes sense. So as you see in the budget review worksheet, it'll break everything down by months. It populates everything based off those expenses, how much you will have left over at the bottom. It'll also populate how much the total expenses for that month will be as well. So your income in that column is referring to whatever you put in either the savings section or the income section. This also may incorporate any additional loans. So in the categories, it'll have your tuition payment, but it'll also have any additional loans that you receive. That would be your loans that you get for as a refund check. And that will be factored into your income as well. So if you're like me, you're essentially living off of your savings and your loans, and that's what populates in the income tab on the income category on the very bottom of the review worksheet. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I do hope this video was beneficial to you all as you go into your 1 out year. For those of you that are still studying, you got it. Good luck. And for those of you that are about to start, good luck to you as well. I'm excited to start, and I hope you all are too. And I know this is a daunting thing to do. No one wants to think about money and school and things like that, but it is something that you should definitely be doing just to make sure that you're not overextending yourself. Peace, guys.